This is Ray Barton. It is the 15th of the 5th, 1989, and this is the first tape documenting expenses for the Robson account. I'm just under an hour from Dawn Falls, where the Robson's son was last seen alive. From my preliminary research, he's not the only person to have disappeared around this area. Most reports are interstate. There were only 1 or 2 local kids. I'll clarify with the police station when I get there. Should expect others working in the area. All these kids are just missing after all. There seems to be a lot of concern about where they ended up. I don't think it's that sinister. The town's within a day's drive for the nearest international airport. Maybe they hopped on a plane and never looked back. Or went to another state. The Robson boy's parents are reason enough. They seem to care for him, but I don't think their motives are clear. There's some unknown drivers there. My money's on emotional abuse. They're far too polite. Every other word was please, thank you, may I, etc., etc. They're also quite adamant that Harold be found. But I can't argue with the money. Oh, speaking of, there are 2 receipts for fuel in the glove compartment of my car. One totals $48.53, and the other was 50-something. Oh, great. Note to self. In future, pull over to record. Side note, if I get fined for this, does it count as an expense? Well, the patrol let me off with a warning. Too much paperwork. Funny thing, they weren't pulling me over for the use of the voice recorder. Recording devices are a bit of a grey area, but apparently I was speeding. Fortunately, they brought the story about my junker's speedo being faulty. Rookies. So no fine to add to the expense report, though they really did try. I'm taking a break on the outskirts of Dawn Falls. It's called the Welcome Respite. Seems to have an information board. Let's see if it has any more information on it than I managed to gather prior to the trip. Town history seems pretty quiet. Logging town. No major disasters, except one fire in the 70s. Talks about these woods. A lot. Guess that would appeal to hikers and tourists. Apparently it sports a variety of flora and fauna, some unusual to the area. It doesn't talk about any disappearances, but I don't suppose it would. Would be a pretty crappy welcome board if it advertised such a thing. Oh, going to run their circuit trail. Need to get the body moving. I feel stiff. What was that? That sounded close. Nothing. Nada. No sign of felled trees or animal tracks. Not that I'm an expert. It was the weirdest thing. Oh, and someone's left a note on my car. How quaint. Huh. It reads, Welcome to Dawn Falls. We hope you enjoy your stay. Well, that's friendly. No other cars in the lot. It's going in the glove compartment file with the receipts. I've paid a week in advance at the Falls Motel. Receipt is in my bag. I will transfer it to the glove compartment when I next go out. Room's pretty standard, but it's clean. People really love wood here. Subtlety was not this decorator's design. As requested by the Robsons, I have adhered to their budget of $500. I came in under, actually. A week to find a lead on Harold. Can't work this way. And I definitely can't work when hungry. There's a cafe across the car park. The guy at reception recommended it. Another note on my car. It reads, "Only a week? That's not long to play. We'll have to find a way for you to stay." That is intriguing. Terrible rhyme. Someone's spying on me. Must have been eavesdropping on me while I was talking to the receptionist. I think his name was Rodney. $15.64 for lunch, dinner. Receipt is in bag with others. 2 men just walked in. Clearly twins. The cafe is quaint. It's attempting elegance and partially succeeding. Not packed, but this is a work day, and it's after the traditional lunch hour, so I will have missed the rush. There's 5 other people in here, excluding staff. It's quiet. Once I finish my drink, I'll head to the counter and see if I can get any information off the owner, Sandra. Well, Sandra remembers Harold. Apparently, he frequented the cafe in the short time he was in town. She likes to ramble on. I need to call the Robsons to clarify some things. According to her, Harold's parents were monsters, and Harold told her that he took the trip to escape them. She also claims that his plan was to cross the border and find a small, isolated place to hole up until they stopped looking. That's not the story they told me. I'm not sure who to believe. On the one hand, the Robson stories seemed a little sketchy when they told it to me. On the other hand... One moment!
Oh, hi, g'day. I was just wondering if you'd joined that cafe that I recommended. Did you end up going there?
Oh, yes, thank you. The cafe was nice. Thanks for recommending it.
Oh, super, great. Yeah, that's great. All right, well, yeah, let me know if you need any more recommendations, you know. Oh, I know the area.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night then, miss. I'll see you around.
I will say this for the Falls Motel. Thorough service. A courtesy call at 9 p.m. to see if I liked the cafe he recommended? Now that's service. Or entirely inappropriate, depending on your perspective. As I was saying, on the other hand, it would be in this town's best interest if those investigating the disappearances believed they left town before vanishing into thin air. The reason I'm looking into this instead of the cops is because it just looks like people wanting to not be found. It's not a kidnapping. All of the missing kids have left school, can drive, etc. I had another drink at the cafe, $2.14. Receipts are all in the usual spot now. Tuesday the 16th of May 1989. I rang the Robsons. I asked them to recap their story, stating that there had been some discrepancies. They said that Harold probably lied. He was prone to that. Apparently. I'm taking both stories with a grain of salt for now. At the cafe for breakfast. It looks busy. Harold had been in town for roughly a week before he left. I want to know who he associated with. Sandra pointed out the people she saw Harold talk to, gave me their names and half their life stories. I kid you not. None of it relevant. And there's another PI in town, as predicted. Of all the PIs in all the states in all of Australia, why did it have to be Zach Thornton? Joy. He's talking to those twins I saw in here last night. They have mighty sour faces. Or are they just bored? Those two are on my list, but I'm saving them for last. They seem to be a handful, judging by Zach's lack of composure. I'm going to go and speak to the mechanic, but Apparently, it's best not to talk to her until she's working on a car, so... Wow, those are some Cheshire grins right there. So smug.
Bullshit!
There goes Zach. He's probably seen me, unless that was a truly blind rage. Ooh, that's dangerous. Pretty sure that pair did it on purpose. I'm impressed. Although goading Zach is not exactly hard. Oh, excuse me.
What can I do for you?
That man who just left, can you tell me how long he's been in town?
About a month, I think.
Did he talk to you about why he was here?
I can tell you much. He was here about some missing girl, one of the out-of-towners. Sandra could probably tell you more. He's been a bit of a menace around here.
No, Zach's pretty much always like that. Thanks, though. I appreciate it.
Everything okay otherwise? May I take your plates?
Oh, yes. The breakfast was great. Thank you. There goes the mechanic. I'll finish up breakfast and head over. $7.87 for a stack of pancakes and coffee. Not bad. Tony. Her name is Tony. This is so stereotypical, I feel dizzy. The mechanic's real name is Antoinette, but she doesn't dress the part. Real tomboy type. Not a judgment. Anyway, all I said was hi, and she wanted to know who I wanted to talk about. She has a stockpile of cars that came in but were never picked up. She's given me the keys to the car Harold brought in. She says I can look all I like, but to give the keys back. The car itself looks okay. No scratches or broken windows, just a little dusty from sitting. Let's see what we have here. Very little to go on. His bag is still in the back, which is odd. Maybe he was getting ready to leave town when he broke down. It's just clothes, a few toiletries, and his wallet. He clearly doesn't use his glove compartment as efficiently as I do. Or more efficiently. There's a false bag. Just a couple of pieces of paper. He got notes too. Welcome to Dawn Falls. You won't be staying long. This seems to be the only one. There's a letter to a lover, though it's not signed or addressed explicitly. Looks like whoever wrote it was interrupted. It's pleading for help. Oh, shit.
Oi!
Shit!
What are you doing here? Did they send you?
What do you...
I'm so close, I saw you laughing.
Zach, calm down.
Bitch, you're here to take over my case.
I'm really not, Zach.
This is all your fault. It's all you.
Zach, stop.
You laughed at me with those bastard friend twins. They're the devil. I just...
Get away from her.
This is none of your business, Wells.
Well, the only way to get to her is through me.
Oi, Thornton! You're paying for that window, you son of a bitch! Don't make me call the cops!
I'll be seeing you again soon, Ray.
No, you won't. You okay, miss?
You pulled Zach off me like he was nothing. He's been hired muscle before. He's no slouch.
He's just another load of dead wood to me. I'll see you, little miss.
Well, that was... bracing. As for the mountain of a man that just interceded, 6'11", light brown hair, Solid build, beard, soft eyes though. Not sure if Wells is a first or last name. Also, not sure whether or not to report it. Tony's on her way over, she'll want the keys back. I'm replacing the fake back to the glove compartment, keeping the documents though. I should have charged the Robsons more.
You alright, hun? I saw what happened. Saw the whole thing. Do you want me to call the boys in blue?
No, that's fine. What a day. I'm nursing a sore neck. Slight swelling and some light bruising on my arms and chest. This is embarrassing. Should have heard him coming. Should have been better prepared. Zach was jabbering, which is unusual for him. He's a man of few words. Something's shaken him up. But I can't imagine what. He's not easily spooked. I think I'm going to go out to the forest for a run tomorrow. This place seems insane to me. It's mostly an extreme either way. Everyone is super nice and polite, or they are completely psycho. And even then, he isn't even local. I found a couple of the girls that Harold was talking to. Seniors with fake IDs. Apparently met him at the local bar one evening. Then a few evenings after that. They've agreed to meet me for lunch tomorrow. I'm not game to case the bar tonight. I don't know where Zach is, and I'm not risking running into him. Not in a bar. My reporting him to the cops would cause him a lot of strife, and another missing kid loses another chance at being found. Even though it sounds like he's hit a dead end anyway. Still, he's not okay. The girls are Rachel Milner and Tracy Posier. From my short conversation with them this afternoon, they were fond of Harold, but didn't know him that well. The plan was to lose himself in the Northern Territory somewhere. More details tomorrow. I wonder, if he mentioned his parents to them, what story he used. Tony said he used his parents' card to bill for the repairs, but it seemed on the level. My guess is that he lifted it. I doubt his father would hand over a platinum credit card to an 18-year-old. But then, if he did steal it, why not report it and find him that way? Dinner cost $20.54, receipt in the usual place. Barton out. 5 a.m, 17th of the 5th, 1989. A body has been found in the woods on the outskirts of town, on the circuit. The face has been mutilated, eyelids cut off. The mouth has been fixed open. It was found in a sitting position on the lower limb of a pine, back to the trunk, hands bound and tied to the branch. It's not Harold, it's a woman, fully clothed. Cause of death is uncertain. What disturbed me most is that there was a note addressed to me pinned to the welcome board. It said, "Poor little thing, all tied up with string, no one could see her, but God could she sing." A little too prophetic to be coincidence. Deputies escorted me back to my car, but I've snuck back again to get a better look. I ran into the cordoned-off crime scene earlier while I was doing my run of the track, so I didn't get a chance to hide last time. Some kind of symbol has been carved into her face. I can barely see it. The crime scene photographer is taking her time with those photos of the body in situ. The body position is weird. It reminds me of something. It's not hidden at all. It looks like it might have been there for days. It's near the outskirts of the forest reserve. God, what does she remind me of? She's so perfectly placed. Nothing about this is messy. Whoever did this had the time and patience to haul a body 30 foot up a tree and tie her into position. It's...
Remarkable?
Yes, Oh!
You're coming with me.
Officer, I'm really very sorry. my curiosity...
Tell it to the inspector. You have no business here.
Actually, I am investigating...
You're interfering with this official investigation. We may have to bring you up on charges. You have no power
I
here.
haven't done anything.
Get moving back to your car. If I catch you snooping again, or you're not there when we come out of the woods, you'll be considered a suspect, and I'll happily put out a warrant for your arrest.
Understood. By rights, I should have already been to see the inspector. I'm not expecting the warmest of welcomes. Especially not now. Bracing for a beating. 5 a.m, 17th of the 5th, 1989. A body has been found in the woods on the outskirts of town, on the circuit. The face has been mutilated, eyelids cut off. The mouth has been fixed open. It was found in a sitting position on the lower limb of a pine, back to the trunk, hands bound and tied to the branch. It's not Harold, it's a woman, fully clothed. Cause of death is uncertain. What disturbs me most is that there was a note addressed to me pinned to the welcome board. It said, "Poor little thing, all tied up with string, no one could see her, but God could she sing." A little too prophetic to be coincidence. Deputies escorted me back to my car, but I've snuck back again to get a better look. I ran into the cordoned-off crime scene earlier while I was doing my run of the track, so I didn't get a chance to hide last time. Some kind of symbol has been carved into her face. I can barely see it. The crime scene photographer is taking her time with those photos of the body in situ. The body position is weird. It reminds me of something. It's not hidden at all. It looks like it might have been there for days. It's near the outskirts of the forest reserve. God, what does she remind me of? She's so perfectly placed. Nothing about this is messy. Whoever did this had the time and patience to haul a body 30 foot up a tree and tie her into position. It's...
Remarkable?
Yes, Oh!
You're coming with me.
Officer, I'm really very sorry. My curiosity...
Tell it to the inspector. You have no business here.
Actually, I am investigating...
You're interfering with this official investigation. We may have to bring you up on charges. You have no power
I
here.
haven't done anything.
Get moving back to your car. If I catch you snooping again, or you're not there when we come out of the woods, you'll be considered a suspect, and I'll happily put out a warrant for your arrest.
Understood. By rights, I should have already been to see the inspector. I'm not expecting the warmest of welcomes. Especially not now. Bracing for a beating. Inspector Marley. Inspector Christopher Marley. Well, well, well. I wish working with law enforcement was always this pleasant. I think my parents would forgive me if I brought him home. It'd distract them for a little at least. Anyway, he's let me go without charge. I explained that I was simply on my morning run when I ran into the crime scene. The second escort from the scene was a little harder to explain. Well, now he knows who I am and why I'm in town. He's asked that I share any information I find with him, though he cannot offer me the same courtesy. Typical. I'd be so much better off doing this job in the States. Zach's name came up, and the look on Marley's face told me the whole story. They've had run-ins of a less than cordial nature. He's been more of a menace than I realised. Turns out the woman found in the woods today was the woman Thornton was looking for. One Chantel Hurley. Zach hasn't been seen since. He's wanted for questioning. I told Inspector Marley about what happened yesterday. If only I'd gotten that lumberjack's name. Wait a second. I think that's the photographer's car just pulling in. Idea.
Yes, Inspector? Yes, I'll be right in.
I wonder if there's anything interesting on the receptionist's desk.
Ugh, that receptionist is so lazy.
Sorry, I'm temping here, still getting my head around the work. Can I help you?
Nice try. You were the girl sneaking around the body this morning.
I am a temp. I was just on my morning run.
But you're not from here.
I take what I can get. I actually do some photography myself. If those were taken this morning, that was a quick developing time.
Yeah, well, I was in a rush.
I'll bet it shows.
Just make sure Christopher gets these.
He's unavailable right now, but I'll get them right to him as soon as possible. Thank you. Stuck up cow. Well, Rachel and Tracy were no great help. They were an insight into this town, though. Harold told them the same thing he told Sandra, that his parents were abusive monsters and he was running away. Though in the girls' version, he was making for an airport and was going to buy a ticket overseas, was going to take them with him if they wanted. I've seen pictures of Harold. I think that was just a bit of a stretch. They told me they laughed off the idea, that they'd never dream of leaving this town. Funny, that's the only thing I'd dream about. I think the different stories are due to his thought process being scattered and haphazard. He took quite a shine to the girls, though. I requested the receipts from Sandra and the man who runs the bar. Both were willing to show me the receipts, but not provide copies. He spent a few $100s at each, reportedly with them. I asked about the letter I found in Harold's glove compartment and if it was recognisably to or from either one of them. They showed me their school books. It isn't their handwriting. I sent a fax to the Robsons, another thing to be added to my motel bill. They claim it isn't Harold's. I asked about the credit card. They said they gave it to him to use as he wished, but they aren't willing to pay my usual daily rate and have set restrictions on me. I only took this job because the only other thing that came across my desk was some teen wanting me to take photos of his girlfriend who he suspected was cheating. A quick phone call determined that he was, in fact, a stalker and she had a restraining order against him. There's a very closed community vibe to this town. Sure, everyone is very helpful, polite, and exceedingly friendly, and yet there is a togetherness that suggests a code of silence. There is something hidden. Not that this explains Marley's behaviour. Maybe it's all part of the plan. I don't know. I'm at a loss. The only thing to do is continue with the investigation. Lunch was $12.37. They make a decent Reuben at the cafe. 2:30 p.m. at the Dawn Falls Public Library. They have newspaper archives that are pretty impressive for a town this size. I've been looking for anything remotely similar to what's been happening here. Since only a handful of kids have been local, the documentation of other missing people is minimal. A couple of "have you seen this person" type ads and articles telling of the mass disappearances, but no specific names or details. I've gone back through maybe 70 years worth of issues for the local rag. There's a rash of disappearances every so often, but there's no obvious pattern beyond most of them being outsiders. Oddly, no murders to be spoken of. Although an issue in April of 1961 documents a group of backpackers dying of exposure in the local woods with some animal scratches. Jesus, that is not exposure. And what Australian animal could possibly create markings like that? That's a lot like this morning's body, but there are several of them. They're in varied positions, but it's strikingly similar. Some cult activity was suspected, but there wasn't enough to go on, not enough proof. I still don't know how someone could pull this off. 30 foot in a tree with no damage to the trunk or surrounding wood. If there was a ladder or someone climbed up, I would have expected there to be evidence of it. An older man seems to run the library. His name is Archibald Deacon, and he's been running this place his whole life. He says he was around when the backpackers were found. It was quite the scandal in its day, but never got much in the way of national publicity. Or internationally, since all the backpackers appeared to be from the States. This is going off something Deacon said about there being some Native American Indians amongst the campers. For the record, he used much more colourful terms than that. Forgive the pun. This is all so familiar. Damn it, Ray, think. I love the radio station in this town. Something about no dogs being allowed in the dog park. It's delightfully odd. But it won't tune in properly in my car, and there's no radio in my hotel room. It's busted. Anyway, grab dinner at the bar, and since I doubt they'll let me claim drinks, that's $10.48. Currently looking over the photos I snatched earlier today. That photographer wasn't kidding when she said she rushed these. They're awful. Processing was not optimal, but I'll have to make do. It's only a matter of time until they figure out who has them, and I don't have access to the negatives. There are definitely symbols cut into the skin of the face, but they make no sense. I vaguely recognise several of them, but they come from different cultures and times. I've sketched out those I can fully discern. I'll go see if the public library has some tomes that come to mind tomorrow. Otherwise, I can't say that the photos help me much. This doesn't feel violent. I'm not a doctor, but the carving of the flesh appears to have been post-mortem. Same for the breaking and setting of the jaw. The teeth are strange too. Canines are much more pronounced, and it looks like others were filed into points. Not sure whether or not that's relevant or was conducted just prior to or after death. Whoever tied her there knew their knots. Not sexual either. The body is fully clothed. Again, something I'll probably never know the answer to, because after this I am unlikely to be able to lift the autopsy results off the receptionist's desk.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find a way.
Inspector Marley! Hi!
You're really very perceptive.
Clearly not, if I didn't see or hear you coming.
Well, the bar is loud.
So, off to the station, is it? This was not how I imagined my career ending.
Pardon?
You're not here for me?
Oh, I am.
Guess I overestimated.
You didn't. I'd like to talk to you.
So talk, lawman.
Not here. Would you mind coming to my office?
I would. At this time of night, what would people say?
Would you feel more comfortable going in cuffs?
Perhaps, but not at this stage of our relationship.
How much exactly have you had to drink?
Believe it or not, I haven't gotten there yet.
Good. Then you can drive. Meet me at the station in 10 minutes.
They'll say we're in love.
Jesus, just be there.
Okay, simmer down. Well, I gave back the photos. Marley wasn't surprised, but again, he has refrained from charging me. He grilled me on what I knew and what I thought about the scene. I didn't give him much. I don't have much to go on. This isn't my case, after all. He's desperate. Smart, but desperate. The one officer manning the desk dropped in to ask some inane question about operating the coffee machine. Turned out it wasn't plugged in at the wall. He's surrounded by 9-to-5ers. Seems to be handling this pretty well, considering. Dawn Falls is his hometown, but he's clearly spent time elsewhere.
An excellent summation of the conversation thus far, Miss Barton. But tell me, why do you feel the need to record this?
Why do you write reports? They're notes, and I can't afford a computer. You want me as some unofficial consult, but I only have a week to find a lead on my own case, and you aren't paying me.
I couldn't even if I wanted to. Not my call to make. At least tell me one thing, Miss Barton. Why take a missing persons case? It's a police matter. Here, the only difference between a PI and a stalker is a good lawyer.
Because it beats the usual shtick of hunting down cheating spouses.
Surely there's more to it than that.
If I think of anything, I'll be in touch. Maybe I'll tell you the rest of the story sometime. Maybe over a drink. Or several. This has been a long day. When I got back to my room, I made some calls. I'm meeting the Fenn twins tomorrow for lunch. A little sooner than I would have liked, but they seem to have the most information, and I don't have time to wait. The photos have been delivered to the station. They weren't of any further use to me anyway. On further reflection, I needed to stop looking at it altogether. The dead girl disappeared before Harold even came to Dawn Falls. There's no connection, so it isn't my concern. The only connection is the fact that they both disappeared. I'll call the Robsons tomorrow after I interview the Fenns, give them an update, and hopefully a lead. At this point, they are unimpressed with my efforts. I've told them to cancel the card. Then, if Harold is alive, he can't leave the country. They scoffed and asked me what sort of parents they'd be if they left their child without a means to purchase food. Ugh. Well, he'd probably turn himself in, call home, reach out in some way, but hey, what do I know? With the stories I keep hearing about the Robson, it'd be pretty fucking par for the course. I regret not trying to get in touch with the neighbours or Harold's school friends. But the Robsons wouldn't give me that information. The school he attended, friends' names, district, none of that. The billing address I got was a P.O. box, and they came to my office for the interview. There was too much of a rush to get me down here. I have all the initial missing reports, newspaper clippings, but they mainly detail his last known whereabouts as opposed to his personal life. I found another note sitting on the passenger seat of my car. I had left that window open a little, so it's no great mystery as to how it got there. I imagine they slipped it in when I went to drop the photos. It reads, "You're stealthy, smart, and seemingly more. We hope you have a quicker wit than those that came before. We think you will be quite the ride. You are a singular rose, as opposed to the thorn in our side." Zach's dead. That man who pulled him off of me the other day. His name is Jackson Wells. He found Zach, and as far as I know, he's not under suspicion. It came in over the radio this morning while I was eating breakfast. Well, it said the body of a man. I thought it might be Harold, so I dropped in to see Inspector Marley since I could potentially ID the body. I ended up IDing Zach instead. I gave Marley the contact details for Zach's family. I wish I could tell his mother myself. I owe her that. I had to be interviewed because of the incident the other day and give the inspector my background with Thornton. That was a little awkward. Sandra's been keeping me stocked with coffee since I got here. No charge, apparently. She's lovely. She sat with me while it was quiet and assured me that it wasn't always like this here, that this is an anomaly. A body hasn't been recovered in this town since the campus nearly 30 years ago, but 2 days after I arrive and boom, dead body. And now another, though it doesn't resemble the first in the slightest. I can't do this. Not today. I'm not myself. I'm just going to stay here until my meeting with the Fenns. The twins. Oh, how to describe the twins? Physically, identical. Every movement is a mirror of the other. Never seen anything like it. They seem to thrive around strangers, target them almost. I've already watched them talk to other investigators and seen what they do to those just passing through. They like to play games, and I'm in no mindset to play along. But Zach's death will be no less fresh tomorrow or the day after, and I need to know what they know. The question is, will I be able to get a straight answer out of them? It's doubtful, but no harm in trying. Ah, they're here and they've seen me. Their smiles have a mischievous quality. Perfect unison in their walk. Must be a hard act to maintain. 5'11", dark brown hair, limber build, Caucasian, sharp jawline and large eyes of a deep amber. Clean shaven, generally well manicured on the whole. This is one of those days when I curse trying to act professional. Well, it's 11:36 a.m. on the 18th of May 1989. I'm at the cafe and I'm about to interview Dorian and Damien Fenn. They look like they might eat me. Hello, gentlemen. It's a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Miss Audrey Barton, we presume.
I prefer Ray.
We don't. Audrey has a certain ring to it. It's charming. Planning to record this little meeting. I wonder what she said as we were wandering up. Rewind it, would you?
It was nothing of consequence, I assure you. May I please have that back?
Oh, all right. But there's something we'd like to ask you on the record before we hand it over.
Okay.
Can you tell which of us is Damien and which of us is Dorian?
It's a pity you'll never get my answer.
Why not?
That recorder is about to run out of complete agents of chaos. They aren't at all typical twins. They play off of each other. No one seems to be able to tell them apart, and I think they like it that way. It's their favourite game, making people guess, as you may have heard. Not sure when that tape cut out. They spent much of lunch boasting that no one has ever guessed correctly. Not strangers, not friends, that their own parents can't even tell. Blah, blah, blah. So proud, and yet they almost seemed sad about it. But this might just be a guess. I think they want to be told apart, and yet they strive to be the perfect mirror. I think I get it. I mean, their appearances are just that, appearance, superficial. I think they want someone to be able to see past that and know which is which. They're convinced no one can, so they've committed to the act. That's fine. I can tell them apart. Not that they know this. Admittedly, I couldn't tell in a photo, but in person, easier than expected. Mannerisms vary, and their voices are just slightly different. If they think I'm just like everyone else, then I have the edge. Lunch total is not applicable today. The Fens insisted on paying. I told them this wasn't a date. They shrugged and said it kind of was, because much like a first date, I would get no action from them, so they may as well pay for the privilege of denying me. How courteous. But also a total waste of my time. I asked them out for dinner tomorrow, their choice, and they just grinned and chuckled together before flouncing off. It would appear I have to court them. I have no problems with this, apart from only having a few days to do so. Besides, they underestimate me. I noticed that the diner waitress made a pass at them as they left. They shut her down. Hard. I did some digging at the library. Their parents moved here about 6 months before their birth. Mother is a moderately successful artist and is constantly travelling with exhibitions, rubbing elbows with fashion designers and the like. Their father is a different animal. Going off the gossip columns of the local print news, more business-orientated and quite successful. But his wife is a public figure. They're never here. Curious, why do the twins stay? I'm done for today. While I feel a little more on my game, I doubt it'll last. 8:24 a.m, 19th of the 5th, 1989. I was on my run this morning at the respite circuit and this girl crashed into me. Literally. She said sorry and told me her name was Ash. She was hopping about the place. She wanted to know if I wanted to play. Seems to be about 15 years old. Wild, scruffy, red hair, a couple of inches shorter than I am, walking around barefoot. I asked her where she lived. She said, here. Really energetic kid, like I wish I had that kind of energy. Would not stand still. She told me that she liked meeting new people and was glad she ran into me. She seemed sad that I couldn't stay. She told me she'd take care of me off the path, but I said I had things to do and I was looking for a boy not much older than herself that went missing in these woods. That soured her expression. She told me she didn't think I would find him and that she knew the woods could be bad when they wanted. Now, she's not the first person to refer to these woods that way, as if it had a personality of its own. I've run around these woods every morning since I've got here and I don't see it. It generally seems pretty quiet. Even when they found the body, the forest didn't take on any ominous presence. It generally seems pretty quiet. Even when they found the body, the forest didn't take on any sort of ominous presence. I've got some questions I need answered. Going to stop off to see Tony, talk to a couple of people at the cafe, and I want to talk to Inspector Marley about this girl in the woods. 8:30 p.m, 19th of the 5th, 1989. Well, according to the inspector, Ash has no parents, no records, and appears at random in the forest. They've tried to apprehend her, but they can't catch her in there. To the inspector, it seems pointless to capture her. She seems happy and well taken care of. She's an accepted presence in the town and has always been friendly. No one finds this a little suspicious? I mean, okay, I doubt she's the killer, based on her age and build. There's no way she's responsible or capable. But no one has thought to ask her if she's seen any of the missing kids? I talked to Tony again, asked her the exact details of the last time she saw Harold. Apparently, Harold rang her from the payphone at the circuit, having broken down. He was there when she arrived to tow him, offered him a lift, but he declined, saying he'd get back to town after a walk. Tony said he walked off into the forest with nothing but the clothes on his back. Tony said he seemed happy enough, though frustrated by the breakdown. She said his belts were shredded, which seemed odd to her since she'd just fixed the car and performed a full service. After looking the belts over again, she found they were the same belts she put on a few days prior, but it was as if they had completely perished and then snapped. She couldn't think of any way this could have occurred naturally, or even how someone could make it appear that way. I took another look at Harold's car. A note was sitting on the dash with my name on the front. Follow your distractions, you'll get further than chasing your aim. Go backward to go forward. That's how you play the game. I've been reflecting on these notes, trying to work out who sent them. The obvious answer is the Fenn twins, but I don't think it is them. Rereading the one from the 17th, I think the phrase "thorn in our side" is in reference to Zach Thornton, which means that whoever writes these notes either killed him or is happy he's dead. Either way, it's despicable, and I'm inclined to think it's the former. I showed Tony the note Harold received and asked her if this was normal. She was quite surprised, shocked even. I asked her if I could check the cars of some of the other missing people. I found a welcome note in a couple of them, mainly scrunched up on the floor. They said roughly the same thing. Welcome to Dawn Falls, you won't be staying long. Some are more threatening than others, and it's entirely possible that these have been planted since the disappearances to throw me off. Some people may have thrown notes out, thinking it to be a bad prank. I don't blame them. Apart from the vague threats, they read like 10th grade poetry. While I hate to give in to anonymous hoaxsters, I'm taking their advice. I'm drawing up a comprehensive file on all the disappearances, from information I can presently access legally. There's no obvious pattern to the disappearances. I think another trip to the library is in order, to look over the old cases. I've picked up a fresh map. Something is happening here. If chaos theory has taught me anything, it's that there's patterns in everything. Lunch was $13.15, dinner was $20 or so, a couple of coffees in between, glove compartment. 12:50 p.m, 20th of the 5th, 1989. I've been at the Dawn Falls Public Library since it opened this morning, poring over the old newspapers again. I've got a file set up for each bout of disappearances dating back to the founding of this town. There have been 3, including the current one, and that also covers the time period when the campers were found. Thanks to Deacon, I also have some old photos of the town, donated by various people, kept in an underused section of the library. Seriously, it was all dust and cobwebs. Deacon appears to have forgotten about it for some time. And within those drawers, I found a fresh file with my name on it. In it were the original crime scene photos of the campsite and a note asking me to put it back in the drawer when I'm done. Inspector Marley's doing it, I suspect. The resolution is amazing for the age of the photo. It's a lot more detailed than the scanned newsreels. Several of the bodies appear to be tied together in the most unusual way. It's almost like they were woven together. They almost look like they're praying. Their faces are contorted, as if they were in awe, though their skin is torn up. The cops on the scene look aghast, hats off, turning away in disgust. Hang on. There's a body in that tree. Strung up, just like Chantel was. That's it. That's what it reminds me of. Gargoyles. Historically, gargoyles are used to ward off intruders. There are varying versions that used similar images as warnings for the people who placed them, using it like a vessel to see through. There's no records here of the names of those campers. The body in the tree has been treated different to those on the ground. I think it's been carved into, the same way Chantel was. This doesn't make sense. I can see some from Native American, Nordic, and even some Kabbalistic symbols. I'm sure that if I had my grimoires with me, I could identify more. I want to say it's the same person who did both the campers and Chantel, but there's 30 years between the incidents. It's odd to see these polytheistic symbols mixed with others based off of a monotheistic culture. Whoever it is has some serious delusions and clearly believes in mysticism. I think it's unlikely to see the same devotion and practices in 2 people. This case gets weirder and weirder every damn day. Weirder still, the Fenn twins asked me out to dinner. When pressed for a reason, they admitted to no ulterior motives. They did not realise my stay was so limited and wanted to make sure I had my chance to get the information they had on Harold. Or maybe they're upset that I'm not pursuing them as doggedly as other PIs. Oh well, it'll be my last night in town. Taken out to dinner by attractive twins seems like leaving town on a high note. 5:37 a.m, 21st of the 5th, 1989, on my morning run of the circuit, and I'm hearing something. What is that? I think I can hear singing. I was out running the path when I started to hear it. I'm going to see if I can find the source. Bear with me. I think I can pinpoint the sound, but it's hard to tell with the closeness of the surrounding forest. The acoustics are mad in here. I don't think it's too far from the path if I just...
I wouldn't do that, little miss.
Please don't do that. How is a guy your size so damn quiet?
It's further than you think, and sound bounces around these woods like you wouldn't believe. It's not safe to leave the path.
But I've seen you.
That's different. I understand the woods.
You're Jackson Wells, aren't you? Well, I'm going to find that sound. Come with me or don't. I don't understand. Where are we?
It does this sometimes. You get turned around and it just, well, looks different. That's all it is.
I never got to thank you for helping me the other day.
Don't. I'm sorry for what happened to him. But you can't come into these woods angry.
Did you come across a young kid named Harold? That's why I'm in town. I'm looking for him.
I ran into him once or twice out here. We didn't really speak. He was caught off the path and I got him back to his car.
Have you ever seen a young girl out here? Shaggy red hair, excitable.
Ash. The path is just ahead. You can see it now.
How did we get this turned around?
Even the best of us get lost here. You get on your way, Miss Ray.
Say, do you remember seeing Harold the day he disappeared?
I did. I was driving past and saw him leaving his car out where yours is now. You can ask Inspector Marley if you want to confirm that.
No, I trust you.
That's fine. Just fine. Don't trust the woods, though.
Don't trust the woods. An odd sentiment. I could have sworn I heard someone singing, definitely a woman, but it seemed to fade away as we got closer. And then it seemed to come from somewhere else, like somewhere totally different, and it changed just like that. Maybe it is just the acoustics, but the feeling is intense. It's the strangest thing. It just makes you want to step further off the path. If Harold is in there, what am I saying? He can't be. The entire forest is only so big and is met on all sides by roads. He can't possibly be lost. 6:56 p.m, 21st of the 5th, 1989. This is the interview with Dorian Fenn. Damien could not come as planned. Dorian, do you consent to being recorded?
Of course.
Thank you. Let's begin.
Oh, a pager? That's an expensive gadget for someone in your line of work.
It's second hand. I write it off as a business expense. Excuse me, Dorian, I had better make this call. Is there a payphone somewhere nearby?
Why not use ours?
Is that a mobile phone? Oh my God. So long as you don't bill me for a replacement if I drop the thing.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
So, I just dial the number like a regular phone? No extra steps?
Like a regular phone, make sure you use the area code at the start. I'll get some air. You take your time.
Thank you. I won't be long. Hey, Emma, what do you mean, evicted from the office? That doesn't make any sense. The Robson should have deposited base fees last week. The Jones account should have settled, as well as the No, don't send the notices to my parents. You know I'm not there. Shit. Look, I really can't talk. I'll have to call you back tomorrow morning. I have to go. He's coming back. No, it's not a date. I'm on a case. You know that. Yes, he's attractive, even by my standards.
Does that infer that your standards are ridiculously high or low?
Goodbye, Emma. The former. Since I initially called you attractive and she asked me to evaluate it against my standards, that would imply that there is usually a discrepancy between what is usually considered attractive and what I find attractive. I probably should have just laughed off your response.
Well, that was the most eloquent, nonchalant comeback I've ever heard.
Ruining things seems to be my strong suit.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Bad news?
It's a personal issue. Nothing to do with Harold. You don't need to concern yourself.
A little late for that, but I won't pry. Not today.
Thanks for the phone, by the way.
I'm going to make this easy for you. What would you like to know about Harold?
I don't think it's worth it anymore.
Go on, ask. No one ever gets it this easy. Don't waste the generosity.
Point taken. Do you have any idea where Harold was planning to go after dawn falls?
I believe the plan was to purchase a plane ticket. He didn't know where to, quite honestly. It would have been somewhere that primarily spoke English. He was leaning towards America last we spoke.
So would you say you were friends?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. He probably thought we were, but we weren't that fond of him.
That doesn't seem unusual, but was there any particular reason why?
He liked to boast. Harold seemed like a quiet kid when he first arrived, but that changed dramatically and quickly the more comfortable he got. He was proud about escaping his parents. His silence was over and he wanted everyone to know. We found out his plans when he was drinking, which was often.
Yes, I've heard. I hope his parents enjoy paying for that one. Okay, so when did you see him last?
We saw him having breakfast the morning he vanished. He used the payphone before leaving the cafe. Damien and I saw him pull out, and that was the last we saw of him. About an hour later, we saw his car getting towed into Tony's, but he wasn't with her.
Do you know who he was on the phone to? Do you have any idea?
I would be guessing, and that's not really of any help. Sandra might have a better idea. She tends to. But I will say that he looked upset, riled up. Anything else?
Did anyone dislike him?
Not that much, to my knowledge. People here are used to outsiders in the sense that the more obnoxious ones are generally ignored. Anything else?
No, that's all. I appreciate your time, Mr. Fenn.
Oh, please, Mr. Fenn is my father. It was a pleasure. You leave tomorrow, don't you?
How do you know that?
Word gets around. It's a shame.
Why?
We were just starting to enjoy this.
Believe it or not, so was I.
Would you care to guess which one is which? We're keen to have you try.
I'm sorry, but I simply can't tell the two of you apart. And I hate being wrong. Easier not to guess.
And you thought she had us figured. You owe me a drink, brother. It would appear so. Care to join us?
Sure, why not? I need a drink. And who could resist one of you, let alone the pair? Right, guess I better surmise the investigation now. I doubt much else is going to happen before tomorrow morning. Ooh, this case has been...
Barton,
You're on duty.
by my count, that's your 5th drink in 45 minutes.
Ha! You should have seen how many I had at the restaurant before I got here. Those Fens sure know how to drink.
You've been drinking with the Fens? Oh, Jesus.
Are you cutting me off?
Depends. Do you plan to drive?
I can't be of any more help to you, Inspector. I'm leaving in the morning. No one's paying me, and none of the cases you want me to discuss have had anything to do with Harold.
Well, they do if his disappearance is connected to the others.
Oh, if they are. You have one body connected to the disappearances, and over 50 counts of people going missing around here over a period of roughly 70 years, documented at least. That amounts to nothing. It amounts to bad police work.
Yeah, I'm trying to change that, but I need help. Are you going to get that?
Nope.
You must really hate whoever's on the other end of that call. Old boyfriend?
If only it were that simple. It's my parents.
Your parents?
Yep. I suspect they're calling to gloat.
About what?
Maybe you should ask them.
I'd rather hear it from you.
I'm trying to summarise my notes here.
You can do that any time, but you leave in the morning.
It's of no consequence to your investigation.
That's not why I'm asking.
Fine. What do you want to know? Well, this has been a miserable evening. I'm projecting that this will likely be my last entry on this case. My time is almost up. I got my total bill from Rodney at the motel reception. It's in the glove compartment. About $50 for calls, faxes, and other incidentals. In terms of finding Harold, I've got nothing to go on. His disappearance is too hard to work out. He was in the woods when he was last seen. I've looked into the weather between then and when I arrived. There was enough rain to wash away any evidence of his whereabouts, and I sure as hell can't track him. It's not a kidnapping. There'd have been a call by now. No trail, no evidence, no leads. I've failed. Thanks to unpaid accounts, I've lost my office and subsequently my home. I've lost Zach. I can't even begin to process that. That he's not here anymore. He was a jerk, but he didn't deserve to die like that. The theory is that he went over the falls, but the other theory is crocodile involvement, though that seems insane here. He was found jammed up under some logs in a way that could not have occurred naturally. The look on his face was terrifying. The note I received might change all that, but I have all of $20 to my name right now. I don't even know if I have enough gas to get out of this place. This is Audrey Barton. It's 3:30 a.m. outside the Dawn Falls Motel. I have failed to find even a trace of Harold Robson, and checkout is at 9. I can hear my parents mocking me from here. Fuck them.
Crocodile eyes, your time with us here is up. But there's a little catch. You see, we want to eat you up. We want to see if those red in the eyes shine just as well when we give you the means to stay with us and show you the depth of morphine.
6:30 a.m, 22nd of the 5th, the last day of my being here. I woke up half an hour ago to find an envelope on the bedside table. I know it wasn't there when I went to bed. I feel sick. All the doors are closed and locked. Inside the envelope was a piece of paper with the play symbol on it. My recorder was sitting on top of the note. I swear I'd left it in the car. It isn't a voice I recognise. I'm going to call it.
Audrey Barton, this is Inspector Marley. Please open the door.
Well, that was fast. What is this about?
I'd rather speak about this private, Miss Barton. It isn't something one yells through a door.
One moment. I'm not decent.
I'll wait just here until you're ready, Miss Barton. Don't be long.
Fuck, what happened? Someone was in here while I slept. In my room, watching me while I...
You okay in there, Miss Barton? Nearly ready?
I'm leaving this on just in case. Please, call me Ray.
I'm here in a professional capacity, Miss Barton, but if you insist...
I do.
Are you okay? You look like you've been crying.
What is it, Inspector Marley?
Are you aware that your car has been taken?
Excuse me?
So that's a no.
I only just got out of bed. I'm supposed to be leaving town today. My stay is up. I haven't found anything. The Robsons won't pay to keep me here without a lead.
Miss Ray, I think you might want to come with me. We'll notify Rodney of the situation, so don't worry about checking out. You might have news for the Robsons yet. You see, we found your car and Harold.
Oh, God.
You obviously are not a suspect, but I would appreciate it if you would accompany me to the station so we can go over everything. I'll give you a minute to collect anything you would like to bring with you.
So, Harold is dead?
This is a gossip town, Miss Ray. I will wait for you outside.
Just one moment, Inspector. I'll be right with you.
Poor Harold. I wonder what the hell happened. He's alive. Harold is alive, though I wouldn't call it living. He has been permanently blighted, tongue cut out, fingers broken irreparably, jaws the same, though his lips were sewn shut. His inner ear is damaged, tendons in his wrists were cut. Someone never wanted this boy to talk or tell or write or be able to communicate with the outside world ever again. The kid is practically in a coma. They're registering minimal brain activity. All he can do is scream. I gave the inspector Harold's parents' contact details, pointing out the direct line first. I don't envy the man. I don't know how I could bring myself to tell a parent that their child is... He'd be better off dead.
Welcome to Dawn Falls. 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 Welcome to